tonight on the show, on the podcast. It's finally happened, guys. They said it wouldn't happen. They said coronavirus was going to stop all this and COVID was going to stop it, but I knew I could do it. After 6 years of podcasting, I have finally managed to get Bear Yeet on the podcast.
Yeah, you did.
Anybody who's been listening to this podcast and who knows me, this is magical. The three guys are all here. First of all, when's that album dropping, guys?
When we've got enough money from the film to actually take time off and write it.
Yeah, when Adam's finished writing it all, I think. Like, he's the genius behind them sexy choruses. So
it's a group effort, man. It's a group effort. It's quite funny actually how we ended up making tunes. Like, I mean, I still laugh when I listen to them, but like, people ended up really digging them and like taking them seriously. It's quite funny, man.
Like proper rap artists come in and wanting guest spots on the next tracks, and that is mental.
Get some Stormzy on there.
I'd love to. I'd love
better
to.
than that lined up if it comes off. But yeah.
It's kind of like it's funny because I know when you guys first started doing that, it was just a little bit of satire for you and you guys having a laugh and everything, producing pretty high quality rap videos, to be honest. But I'm like sitting there and I'm like, these guys are totally having fun, but I think this is awesome.
We had a blast doing it, man. Particularly the first video, because it was we went to London and then it just, I guess, all hell broke loose. I mean, we ended up getting those random the Asian tourist dudes. Like, just we're like, hey guys. No, like they could barely speak English. We were just like, do you want to be in a music video? And they were like, music video. We're like, yeah. We're like, just stand there and follow Neil while he does his verse. So like, that's like what you see in the video is literally, there was barely any conversation before that. It was just like music video, action.
And then we got Neil on a forest bike to ride around and just look bang
with the toy horse. Yeah.
And didn't you get grills in as well?
The grills, the cheap $2.99 ones from eBay. Yeah.
I love it, man.
Old Playtesh.
So I've interviewed Darth Vader. I've interviewed people from The Walking Dead. But this right here, Bear Yeet, that's my podcast done. I can quit.
Yeah. You caught the dragon, mate. You caught the dragon.
So you guys are about to release Hosts. October 2nd in America, in the US, sorry, it's coming out on October 2nd. I can't wait. All the streaming kind of sites and everything. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I believe in the UK we're getting it in January.
Mid to late Jan, potentially.
Awesome.
I don't know if we've been given a proper date yet or an all clear to announce any dates. So we might have to keep.
Yeah, I was just trying to get you into an exclusive there. But if you're not going to give me it, fuck off.
Right, we'll see you. Lovely to see you again.
But what we're going to do is I like to have a little bit of an icebreaker, and I'm going to ask a really nice, easy going question to everybody. How was your lockdown?
Amazing.
Hey, I built a bar during mine, so
lockdown was like super beneficial for us. I think we took a massive positive out of it. And I mean, we were saying this yesterday to the other people that we were speaking to, and lockdown was, I don't know, like it was the time, like we just wrapped in January, and Rich like kind of edited the last bits and put them into the film and stuff, and like the edit was done, in time for lockdown. And then lockdown happened, and because we couldn't, no one could work, everything had dried up and people got furloughed and all that shit. Like, we were just stuck at home, like, okay, what should we do? Oh, why don't we try and sell the film? So me and Rich sat up, and in a whole night, I'll never forget this number, we emailed 174 different distributors, all the way from like the top level people to, chancing it, of course, but like top level people all the way to the low level people, just saying, here's the trailer, this is our debut film, we're looking for worldwide distribution. Then like within minutes, we'd already had people starting to come back to us. One of them was Fox Searchlight, which me and Rich
was the first one.
Yeah,
that was 5 minutes after we emailed Fox Searchlight.
Yeah.
And it was like, ah!
Yeah. And then, but like within the next few days, they were all asking for, oh yeah, sure. We're interested. Can you send us a private screener to the film? So we're like, oh shit, like this is getting, shit's getting real now. So we sent them the screener. And then next thing we know, we're getting like emails left, right, and center saying, "Oh, can you jump on the phone? We'd like to talk." And we're getting like deals offered from us from all over the place, like which is nuts. And we had Dark Sky, the guys that we went with for America on our radar for a while, and managed to grab their attention via Neil. To be honest, Neil was the guy that knew the guy, weren't you? And
yeah. It was a friend of mine was in one of Dark Sky's previous films, Await Further Instructions. I think you saw. Have you seen that, Kev? Yeah. So
Yeah,
Sam Gittins, the man, the myth, the legend.
Awesome.
It was as simple as punching an email to him saying, "Look, we've got our film finished now. What can we do with it? Want to help the guys out as much as we can and take advantage of the time we've got in lockdown." And he sort of said, "Oh yeah, just to speak to Johnny that we had at the after drinks at the premiere of Await Further Instructions." So I messaged Johnny, and he was just like, "Yeah. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, oh, glad you've got a film coming out, sort of thing. Speak to these guys here. Here's the email. Just chat to them, and they should take a look." And then it was passed on to producers, and then they went from there. So. It was we were saying yesterday as well that the lockdown was really quite good for us in the business sense, because they were crying out for stuff, because everything came to a grinding halt, and they were like, "Oh, panic! What are we going to have? What are we going to see?" And usually you have to be solicited, obviously, for a sales agent to get to any of these things, like Fox or Lionsgate or any of these kind of people, and even Dark Sky to a point that the emails just don't get replied to unless you're solicited. So. I think that they were sort of looking at unsolicited stuff to sort of make sure they had stuff to do. And luckily they just got a piece of awesomeness sort of emailed through to them, which is hosts.
It's kind of the reason that I dropped that question in recently when I've been doing these interviews and everything, because although the lockdown has been ass, it's just been pure ass. for creatives like yourselves, especially the ones who have finished the movie, it's been quite good for a lot of people. It's kind of working out a little bit, and hopefully coming out on the other side, we're going to have some more awesome content. So before we properly get into hosts, I would like to go around the room or around the Zoom as we. I'm coining that. That's mine. You can. Right. So let's go around the room. Tell everybody, the listeners, the viewers, just let everybody know who each of you are and your role on the movie, and we'll start with the directors, Richard and Adam. You can decide who goes first.
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm co-director of Hosts. That's all you asked me to say, wasn't it? I was getting ready for a big speech, and then went.
No, just go for it. Just big yourself up.
I'm big enough, mate. I'm big enough.
Adam, let people know about yourself.
I'm Adam, and I'm also co-director of Hosts, and I wrote the screenplay.
And a rock star.
Little bit, not much.
A big bit.
Should have chose the film industry first, but yeah, never mind. It's all good. Speaking of that, I need to plug the song later. Remind me, and I can plug it.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to do that, because I was given a little bit of a tease on that, so we will touch on that later.
Cool.
Don't worry, I've not heard anything.
Has Neil been sneaking your sneakiness again?
What I like about Neil, though, is when he sends you a screener, it's usually like a Pirate Bay link.
Yeah, so he doesn't link back to me. The official one from you guys this time round, it was.
Yeah, Neil was actually.
Also, the official story goes.
No,
good acting, Kev. Good acting.
No, genuinely, Neil was gutted when he found out I had the copy. He was like, "I was going to give it to you."
He sent me a photo online on Messenger of a picture of him with the host tunnel coming up with my name in it, and I went, "Ugh, have you got? I've not even seen it. I hadn't even seen it."
I wanted to leak that. He said,
"The rich one even sent it me, and I was in it."
I'm going to lose out on my rep.
So let's jump over to the stars of the movie, and I would like to start with Samantha. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the movie.
I'm Samantha. I play Lucy in Hosts, which is one of the main characters. I kind of like to think that we're all kind of main characters, because it wouldn't make any sense without each or every one of us. And yeah, it was my first time working with all of these guys, and you know, when they say like it's a dream come true, but it was really scary, so it was a nightmare come true. That's not a good phrase, please don't quote me on that was awful.
Oh, it's going on the it's going on the poster. So Nadia, Neil, a little bit about yourselves and your role in the movie.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Nadia, and I play Lauren in the film, the another main character. Yeah, I've been working with these boys for about like 2 years. I known you prior filming hosts. We've written something together. I've worked with Neil before. Hopefully again. And yeah, it was like one of the best experiences I've ever had on set.
Nice.
Hands down. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm Neil Ward. I play Jack in the film Hosts, alongside Lucy playing her sort of partner in crime and in sort of normal life within the film before everything hits the fan. Yeah, I've known Rich and Adam for how many years now? I don't even know. Probably is it 3 or nearly 4, something like that.
I think it's coming up to 4.
It's coming up to 4. Yeah,
Jesus.
when I was hanging around Piccadilly touting for business, and I pretty much fanboyed Richard Oakes outside of a screening, and he thought I was going to rob his wallet because I do look quite intimidating. But and then got together with sort of Rich and Adam when they were writing with Nadia on one of their projects, and just sort of they can't get rid of me, so I'm just around. I can't work out if that's because they're scared to tell me to fuck off or if it's but yeah, so yeah, that's me. That's what I do and did.
Awesome. Very, very humble for Neil Ward, by the way. The way you normally talk, it's like, oh yeah, I'm the big I am, yeah.
I've been toning down my. Yeah, it's sort of like Rich is my like censor person. He has to censor my. Well, he doesn't censor my tweets. Other people do that for me, but. I have an opinion, and it's pretty much just a watered down one now. So don't worry. When the host's film is said and done, it'll be back to normal. It won't. No, I'm joking.
Adam, I'm going to come to you because you wrote this. I believe you and Richard kind of wrote it together, but the concept is sort of your idea, kind of thing. So where did Hosts come from, and what were you kind of drawing from with this story?
Well, the timing was pretty cool because, like Neil mentioned or touched on a minute ago, you know, Rich, Nadia, and myself had sort of finished a screenplay that we'd spent. I mean, it was a solid. I don't know. I mean, we were developing it for like a year or 2 or something, you know. But it was something that, and it will get done in the future. But it was something that it definitely deserves to be done. I think it's impossible to do without a significantly higher budget. So we realized that, I guess, being nobodies in the industry, that we kind of need to prove ourselves to be able to actually, you know, get investments, you know, for bigger films and projects moving forward. So we decided that, okay, well, now it's time to get off our asses and not that we're ever on our asses, we're always doing something, but get off our asses and do something and get going on a film. So the kind of drive was there, and sort of by chance, you know, like around that time, I was sitting down with my ex, and she saw something at the window, and she's like, "I just saw something at the window." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I just saw a blue light at the window." And for those of you that haven't seen the film, it will make sense when you do. But and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I just saw a blue light at the window, like on the bottom left. So I'm like, okay, I went to go and check it out. I went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife because I was slightly petrified because it was a bit strange. And I went into the garden, checked it out, and lo and behold, nothing was there. And, you know, it was all good. So with that, I kind of thought, you know what, this is kind of a cool idea for a scene in a film, you know, like an establishing or opening scene. So I told Rich about it, and then the two of us kind of spent the night just storyboarding a very rough, like skeleton for the film and all these scene ideas. And then the next day I just went at it and wrote the screenplay for the whole thing within, I think it was about 10 days or something, which surprised me because I'd never written a script before. Like, I mean, on my own, the three of us had done it before, but they went away and did it. And like the ideas were just bouncing off each other with Rich and I, and Neil contributed some stuff, and everyone had ideas. And then that was kind of it. And then the whole channel thing happened. I don't know, maybe Rich wants to tell that part of it, you know, the whole channel and getting funding, which is just an amazing story, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, we kind of went from there. We wrote the script. We knew we wanted to do a film that we could achieve, because the one we'd written before, we were pushing and pushing, and we were getting stuff back like, oh, this film you've written is amazing, but who the hell are you? Basically, we're not gonna throw money at these nobodies, these clowns. So we were like, we need to prove we can make a film first off, and we need to fund it ourselves because no one's going to trust us. And at the time, we were running a YouTube channel. Focusing on cinematography, but just mainly us just having a laugh. We were just taking the mick, and people seemed to respond well to that. Some people would be like, oh, this is rubbish. This isn't how you do things. It's like, we never said it was. We're just having a laugh. It's just ridiculous. And that's where Bay came from and stuff like that. But we thought, do you know what? Let's try and raise the money on Facebook. We've got a dedicated fan base here, but we're going to do things a bit different. Instead of just doing the usual campaign on Kickstarter or whatever, where you like, give us money and we'll give you like a pebble, and we'll rub it on our ass or something, and you can own that pebble. We were like, well, actually, why does it have to be any different? Why can't the fans be the investors? So if they invest the money, they actually get a response with, or they get to join in with the profits of the film, because they've got a percentage and points in the film from their investment. So it's not just like, yeah, give us money and you're just getting a load of rubbish, overpriced as well. Like, yeah, buy a DVD for £59 and you get to have your
picture of Neil's bum.
Whatever, do you know what I mean? Like,
I'd buy that.
So it really worked. People responded well for that, and we managed to raise the amount that we needed, and it got greenlit, and we went ahead. And it was good fun. And we kind of just did lots of crazy things. We did a 12-hour
dark fable,
12-hour drink-a-thon,
which got very
that was
messy
relentless.
and deleted appropriately.
Nah, it's still there somewhere, man. It's still on the channel.
I've still got it.
Night time with Nigel.
Nobody wants to see that.
I think I passed out at 5 or 4.
You were in bed.
You were in bed by 9 o'clock.
They always take the mickey out of me because I'm always like, oh, I've got to get my sleep. And they're like, oh, Nadia's got to get her sleep. Like,
though, because sometimes when you go to these Kickstarters, I mean, I've thrown money at a couple of them myself, and I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not going to drop names for movies that we were, but I still haven't actually received a perk from them. But
we still haven't even got a film from some of the ones.
Sorry about that, dude. I'll try and get it to you.
But that's what I kind of loved about the way that you guys did it, and what I was so interested about was that you were offering up like you say, points in the movie and a stake in the movie, which I might be wrong, but I've never seen that done before.
It's a win-win, I think, man. We get to make our film, and everyone involved gets to kind of make a bit of money off it as well, and it's great. And the board of investors are essentially fans of us that trust us and like what we do and believe in us. And I think it's a win-win. So I'm kind of glad that, I'm sure things will change moving forward, now that we've proved ourselves and trying to obtain bigger budgets. But I'm glad we didn't get a private investor on board and do it, the normal way for this one, because there's so many people benefit from it. And I just think it's great. It's like, it's a big giant family, and it's just awesome.
They all deserve it.
There's a bit of a...
they all deserve it because the faith that they put in us, and that they followed us and invested their time in us for 6 months watching the channel, and we wanted to reward them for that. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was just saying, I think some of the Kickstarters and the Indiegogos you do see, some of them are quite big names that already have sort of channels to money. So you see the odd sort of huge director on there that crowdfunds, and I find it a bit unnecessary, really, because it's good, hard, honest working people that have a passion for something, or they really like a certain group of people or a certain director or the certain concept that they're portraying, and then they ask you for your hard-earned cash so they can make a film for free, and then they keep all the profits, because 9 times out of 10 the bigger ones that go on and make the money, they're sort of, it doesn't feed back to the people that made that happen for them, unless it is the perk of you can go on set for a day, or you can be in a scene for a day. And it's sort of a thing it sort of stales and sort of stains the filmmaking process, where the filmmaking process should be about a script and a story first, and then the passion comes in with putting that film together. And I think that gets lost sometimes with having to meet requirements of someone's paid $4,000 to be in the film and they're not even actors. It sort of cheapens it a little bit. So doing it the investing way is that the boys get to retain their creativity like they did, and people get genuine rewards. And I just think I feel guilty doing it the other way. Like we spoke a little bit about it before we came up with the idea of the investor thing, but I just felt so guilty with the idea that someone else gives you their hard-earned money, and then you get all the money on the back end. Like, how does that work? Like, that's it
not
doesn't.
Money.
But what you did was like open your arms out, like, and create this family dynamic to what you're creating, and like you just involved everyone. And I think like you guys work so closely with each other anyway, and I think anyone who you want to work with, you want to be very familiar with them, and I think that's what you guys kind of represent. You're like home, aren't you? So it's a lovely quality and very inviting for anyone to want to be involved with.
Well, people were putting up large amounts of money. It wasn't just 50 quid here for a signed t-shirt. It was
amazing.
People were putting up thousands of pounds, like, and because of the trust that they had in what these boys can do from their channel and from previous works, and the story and the trailer and everything that they put together, and with the cast and the crew that we had, it was, people believed in that. And when you don't know people and they're random people from like Europe or America that are throwing money at you that they don't even know they may even get back, to get that, and the feeling that they've probably got now, because they're pretty much getting their money back soon, or have got it back, are going to go in, well, that was a good investment, rather than this wonderful poster that's got a picture of some actor I'm never going to see again, which is my poster, really.
Can't be like that.
I was going to say, has it got you on it?
Without any spoilers, because we can't really do spoilers because the movie's coming soon and we want everybody to watch it. Here in the room wants to give me the pitch or the synopsis for hosts, because I am terrible at it, so one of you has to do it.
Adam.
We nominate you.
A family of 5 become victims to a malicious entity that takes its form as their neighbours. Neil Ward and Samantha Loxley!
I thought you recite it word for word then. You were so close.
I know, so close.
You said entity, though.
Takes its form as a quadruple entity. A family of 5 fall victim to basically a supernatural home invasion from their neighbours, Jack Anusi, aka Neil Ward, and Samantha Loxley, that become hosts to a malicious entity. Oh, I did it.
Bravo.
I mean, I have an alternative one.
Does it involve a horse?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, wait and see what happens when you make your partner wear a disgusting Christmas jumper.
Ooh, nice.
Sorry, my jump's missing, but you can hear the sound effect.
Adam, I'll give you 90% for yours because you had a face full of food at the time.
I mean,
There's a bagel, isn't it?
I'm eating a bagel, yeah.
I mean,
I know my food, Neil. I know my food.
I mean, Samantha, you may bring up that jumper, but a certain person on the Zoom was wearing an absolutely hideous hat.
That's Adam's actual hat that I was wearing.
That hat.
The woolen one.
It's a Bear Yeet hat, isn't it?
It's the Bear
You mean
Yeet
the one
hat.
with the
From
ear
Crybaby.
With
It's
the
from the
little
first Bear
ear
Yeet
like
single.
warmers.
You don't wear it in a movie, though. Not in an.
That is the
actual
pride
movie.
of
If you
Bear
can wear-
Yeet.
You're
Yeah, if you
doing
can
a
wear it in
Dark
Bear
Fable
Yeet.
movie.
Yeah,
That
we
hat.
go against the grain.
Of fashion.
Screw your algorithms. Boom.
At least you're not drinking tonight, Adam.
You want to hear a funny story?
Go on then.
So last night, Rich, Neil, Samantha, and myself got on to speak to the guys in the Civil Gore podcast over in the States, and we've been chatting away for 2 hours or something. And like I had a couple of beers. I don't usually drink really, and if I do, it's like I don't have much. But I had, I think, one or two beers or something, and I needed to piss so bad. Like so bad. And like Rich kind of looked over to me, and I'm sitting there kind of shaking and stuff. And I don't know, Rich just goes, "Are you all right, dude?" And like, maybe, I don't know, he thought maybe I was having a panic attack or something. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I really need to piss, dude." So he's like, "Here." And he hands me a bottle. And at first, and I was like, no, I can't. And then he goes, "Well, here." And then he gives me a pint glass. So, and I didn't want to leave the podcast. I didn't want to leave because I'd feel rude leaving. So like, kind of just put the pint glass, like, luckily I was wearing shorts down by my leg, and sort of made a gap in my shorts, and a very small gap in my shorts, and fed it through, and just feel.
Please, Adam, go into more detail.
It's 50 Shades of Grey.
Goodness me.
And I filled up this pint glass, and whilst I'm doing it, it was kind of hurting because Rich was laughing, which was making me laugh, and we were trying to hold that laughter in because we didn't want to offend anyone on the podcast. And all of a sudden, the two of us just burst into fits of
Because
laughter.
all I could hear at the time was. Just that Dumb and Dumber moment where he's like reaching the edge and he's going to swap over. Carry on.
I want to get into this film a little bit because I've spoken to Richard at great length on it. I've spoken to Neil a couple of times. I really did enjoy this film, and I can't wait for it to come out for everyone to see it. There are some absolutely just superb performances. There's not anything else I can say about that really, but I want to jump into a couple of them. And one of them is Mr. Neil Ward, because when you guys were shooting this movie, yeah, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he did kind of message me. He was kind of like, "Dude, I'm really having to step my game up here. I don't know what's going on." Neil, why?
Yeah, it's a true comment. I'd had this sort of discussion with Richard and Adam about it, because it was like, I mean, I've worked with Nadia on stuff before, like one of the trailers for the guys' other films, and I've seen a lot of Nadia's work, and I'd not seen a lot of Sam's, but Sam was a friend of mine. What?
Stop.
Stop.
Go on.
Carry on. I will.
Such a delicate actress. Stop it.
But yeah, so I'd worked with, I'd known a lot. I'd worked with Frank Jakeman before, and I'd worked with Nadia. I knew Sam as a friend. I hadn't seen a lot of her work, but she was just an incredible character and just the way she looks, that would just fit perfectly with the character of Lucy from reading the script. And yeah, I mean, it's a different script and a different sort of character to what I would usually play. So my stuff's all sort of, as you know, Kev, it's like either gritty and harsh and whatnot. In like Two Graves or in Point of No Return, I'm playing quite a harsh character. Not in Two Graves though, but I'm used to that sort of aggressive and very natural approach to stuff. And this sort of script didn't require much, apart from in the first few scenes with Sam as Lucy. That's all very natural as a couple, but everything else it's just a delivery at someone. And I'd sacked off theatre years ago because I thought it was full of nonsense. And I never enjoyed it to a point and realised I hadn't. But this became theatre again, so I was so worried about it. And sort of speaking with the guys, because Nadia and sort of Lee and Frank had all this sort of interactive, intertwined dialogue. So I was starting to panic, thinking I'm usually shit hot on stuff, and I'm usually as confident as anything. But with this, I was starting to panic, going, I'm going to look the worst in this film because of who I was. Even Buddy was like incredible, and I was like, oh, I can't like compete with these guys. And watching Nadia work with with Lee and. Watching Nadia work with Lee and Frank sort of a lot of the time, it was putting a lot of pressure on me because, like, and this isn't to sound sort of egotistical here, but I've sort of worked on a few things in the past where it has been hard to sort of raise levels on stuff with performances. But this was just, I was on the other end of that this time, and it was a genuine worry for me that I had to speak with sort of Rich and Adam a couple of times, going, "Oh, I ain't good enough for this, mate. I need to go home. You need to send me home on the bus." Like, but
yeah, the bus wasn't running at that point, was it? So.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was like 3 a.m, and like, I was crying, and like no one to pick up a crying guy in Chelsea. But yeah, no. Everyone was just incredible, just to watch. I mean, and obviously one key scene in the film, which I won't say anything about, but I wasn't involved in that much. And I was like, that scene is like amazing. I'm in there, but again, it was just a worry for me that I was like, I couldn't bring the best that I could, but then I did, so it's fine.
Yeah. I only asked because this is one of the things, like, I've seen you in other things, like you had 2 Graves and other things that you've sent me somewhat illegally, and so I've seen you in stuff, and I'm quite like, I think you're a good actor, and I like what you've done so far and everything. And then all of a sudden, you're kind of like, yeah, dude, I don't think I'm good enough for this. I'm like, what the? Okay, but then that kind of got me super interested in what was actually going on here, even more so. It was just kind of, this movie's must be firing on all cylinders if that's the case. So I was really pleased to see.
Good marketing ploy, Neil. Very
good one.
Yeah.
It was. We said it last night as well. It does all come down to what's done behind the camera and what's in front. You can have an amazing DOP and an amazing writer and a pile of crap cast, but you need to have 50-50 or 100% on both sides for anything to work in any capacity. Whether you've got £10 budget or if you're shooting on nothing or if you've got 2 million. It doesn't matter if it doesn't gel and it's not encouraged and there's no direction from the directors and there's nothing. You don't get a proper film. You get a half-assed film, which unfortunately is quite prevalent these days. And it's the algorithms, it's money churners, it's what sells, and there's no heart and soul and there's no real thought going into films most of the time. But these guys put more than their heart and soul in. Yeah. And when you get a cast like us to work with, then they get what they need and we get what we need. And it's a lot easier job. It was the best sort of 2 weeks of my life in the last 10 years.
100% the same for me.
It felt like being home, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It did.
I love you guys, isn't it?
Oh, I love you too, all of you. Even you, Kevin. I did notice you said, yeah, you're a good actor. And there was a bit of a hesitant there. I was a bit like, oh, okay, mate. Yeah, no more screeners for you, brother. Where's Chris tonight?
I'd really hoped you hadn't picked up on that. So, Nadia.
Yeah.
Nadia. As Neil just said, you do have sort of the most interaction with other characters in terms of dialogue and whatnot. But this character is super complex, and I really like Lauren. Lauren's like, I think we tend to have a problem in horror movies where you have your sort of character that kind of falls either one of 2 ways. You become super badass and you're going to kill all the baddies, or you become just the damsel in distress screaming all over the place. And you really tap dance on a fine line with this. And I think your performance is very understated, and yeah, people need to see this Lauren performance. I love this. Where
Amen.
where did you, was Lauren on the page when you read the script, or were you able just to bring it out to life?
So I have to say I was very fortunate to get to know Lauren as a character a good few months before we even started, or even was it a year? We did the first table read. Do you remember when we did that?
It was a while back, yeah.
It was a while back. And I mean, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Adam. Were you going to say something?
No, carry on.
Okay. And you know, Adam like wrote this script in like, I can't actually quite believe he wrote this in the time that he wrote it. It was so well put together. And when we did that first table read, I mean, there were people reading who weren't actors, and it was so, it just like completely fell off the page, like in the most natural way. And obviously there was some like, you know, touches up, like rewrites and stuff. But I remember reading Lauren and I was like, okay, this is cool. Cause I completely agree with you, Kevin. Like that is, she can be, it can either go one way or another, like badass or damsel. And it's hard to kind of cut between the middle. I didn't have her from the set off though. I didn't. I had to work for that, but I was very adamant that I wanted it to be as natural and as real as possible. It's like sometimes when you watch films, when bad stuff starts to happen, it's like as if they've had this like person, like all of a sudden it's like a completely different person, like completely different character. Like what happens to this family in this house is obscene and also so comes out of nowhere. And that's how I aimed to perform. Like every moment was literally untold, unprecedented, like completely out of the blue.
It's kind of, it's like I say, it's one of the things I really liked about the movie is the fact that, and it's a testament to the writing as well, the fact that you don't, there is this otherworldly thing happening. We don't want to get too much into it, but you really humanize it by taking it down to a family that is literally home invasion style movie. And the heart is right there.
Totally. I think that's like me and Rich, like we're on the complete same page of that. We didn't want to just go out and make, you know, a film about ghosts and goblins and wizards. That's it. Yeah, Rich, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we didn't want to just do it. Oh yeah, it was built on a burial ground and everyone's haunted and all that shit, man. Like, we wanted to make the supernatural side of it almost secondary and like tell an actual dramatic thriller story on the platform of something supernatural. You know, that's the main focus, and that's why we were so focused on you know, honing in those characters and getting to know them and having drawn out scenes so you really get to know them and you're invested in them and you care about them. And again, I know Neil was saying, you know, it's a 50-50 effort on both writing side and acting side, but shit, man, like the actors, you know, particularly like Neil and Sam, and again, I said this yesterday, like they had to play two different characters each. And that takes more than just talent, you know, that's just incredible. And like everyone in the film absolutely just smashed it, you know, and they brought the whole thing to life. You know, there's only so much, you know, so far a script would go, but these guys, you know, all of you actors brought this thing to life, and you're just amazing, all of you.
Just touching on that, like with you saying the two characters, I mean, I found myself sort of talking with Sam a lot, sort of working out how we do this, because you have to have a clear contrast there. It can't just be this is this and then something's changed with the cinematography in this, just to alleviate confusion of who's happening and who's what. Like I had to sort of delve deep into going, keep the Jack character like as normal and as Neil-ish as possible, just to keep the friendly sort of happy-go-lucky nice guy with his nice girlfriend at Christmas time. And watching Sam do the same thing, I was finding myself drawing a lot from what she was doing, because she is all this like playful, like sort of like puppy-eyed, like all nice and stuff, and then I'm doing the same back, and then we suddenly just turn into cretins. But proper Shawns, like, do you know what I mean? Like it's like absolutely mental, like, and to see it on screen when we've watched it back, you see it and you sort of go, wow, it worked. You know what I mean? And to watch Sam the way she did hers, because Sam approaches scripts, well, you can say about how you approach it yourself, but different to how I do. So to see her working her way and me do mine, and alongside like the Franks and Nadia's and Lee's was great, man, and it just works. I love licking Nadia's face.
I have to just quickly add something. Oh, sorry, Rich. I just wanted to say, like, none of that would have been, everything that we have done on screen wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the guidance of the guys.
Yeah.
Like, what
100%.
was so beautiful is, like, we kept, like, we'd do stuff and then they'd have this look on their face, and I know them pretty well, and like they're so concentrated when they're looking at that screen, like it's amazing, the monitor, but you know, and they just look at each other, and they've got the most amazing work combination, the both of them, like such great dynamic, and they just kind of go, yeah, we're not gonna settle. No, okay, let's do it again. Like, you know, and then like that was their thing. Like, they're not gonna settle for anything that's like lower than up there, and we have to thank them for that, because it's so easy for someone to go, yeah, well, it's done now, let's move on, you know. And thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I think as well a big part of that is some of the scenes in this movie, how do I say it? Yeah, they could go to the nth degree, as in, oh, that's a little bit silly. So you do kind of have to get it spot on and make sure those performances are nailing it in the moment. So I totally understand what you're saying there, and that's a hats off to the guys.
But then when you say in the moment, you know, sometimes those moments turned into hours, because like Nadia said, we wouldn't settle. And even the actors, like you guys as well, if you weren't happy with something, you wouldn't settle. Say, no, I want to do that again. Or we'd go, no, let's do that again. Let's try it this way. And we just got it until we were all happy with it. And also, I've got to say it, you know, props to Sam as well, because Sam, like you could tell the story, but the way Sam, she learned 19 pages of script in 24 hours and nailed it on the day.
Woohoo!
So,
yeah, I only knew I had the part. We were filming the Monday night, and I think it was the Sunday morning. I got the script. I was like, okay, yeah, this will be fine. Yeah, we're just doing these 2 scenes. Okay.
20 pages, yeah. And that's because we had someone pull out, and we were rushing, and Neil was wonderful enough to go, I know this amazing person that would be perfect for this part. Get her down, and we were like, yes, please, for anything that's up there, help us out, please.
I'll just get on the phone.
And she had 1 day to learn a 20-page scene. And,
I mean, I skim read the rest of the script, so like I knew that it was a horror, but that was about it. It wasn't until sort of day 2 when I'd actually had it, because you know when you skim read stuff, I mean, I even get the characters mixed up when you do that kind of thing, but just to get the story, and then when you actually go back over it and read it properly, then I'm like,
regret.
oh, that's a okay.
So with that, because this is a moment I've been kind of waiting for this podcast, and to finally speak to you guys. Samantha, Jesus Christ. Yeah,
It's fine.
so Richard knows what's coming, because I believe when you first asked me what I thought, the first thing I said to you was, Samantha, revelation, here we go. I want to hear a little bit about how you tapped into this character, because you are mental.
I don't know whether that's a compliment or not. I'm just going to take it as being mental, and
it's a compliment. When it comes from me, it's a compliment.
Well, I think again, like I said, like it's sometimes with things like this, if you have a long time to sort of experiment and test things out, and I'm a real big note taker. I've got umpteen notebooks here full of scribbles, most of which I'll never read again, but something about writing and down acting notes seems to make them sink in a bit more. And I think for me, because in this film, Lucy, like she's one of the main characters, but after the first few scenes, she doesn't really say much. I mean, she does have a monologue later on, which is just between her and one other person. But that's kind of an isolated thing, and it's quite sort of premeditated. So it's not like she's in conversation. Do you know what I mean? She's got a story to tell, and she tells it, and that's sort of on its own. So when obviously her character goes through, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but her character goes through a change, and from then on she's not her. She's something. Oh, is that a spoiler? She's
I think that's fine. I think that's
she's
pretty
not herself. Maybe cut that, I don't know. But so when that comes along, but she's still very powerful, and she still has a lot of influence, and she doesn't have to do anything. It's the sort of thing where she could click or look at something and someone would do it for her, because she's that, you know, she's got that much status. And for me, that sort of with the time that I had with it, and just understanding the script and the way that it flowed and everything, I knew that movement would be such a big part of it, because you don't have to act threatening to be threatening. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to, you know, like if you watch, I'm not comparing myself to it, I'm just saying an example of what I was trying to get was, you know, in Hannibal, or when Anthony Hopkins played Hannibal Lecter, he's sitting there and he's very, very quiet, and he doesn't even raise his voice, and it's the most terrifying thing, because you know that he has all the power. And I mean, also, you know, in things like you know, Troy, when they're like Greek soldiers fighting each other and they're screaming, yelling with like swords, that's also scary, but you can sort of pick one camp or the other, I guess. So I knew that everything had to be sort of behind the eyes, and the idea that the original Lucy, as Neil was saying, like Jack and Lucy are very lovey-dovey in the beginning. They're very excitable. They're a young couple. They've got everything going for them, and they're nice people. I mean, I watching it back, because I don't like watching myself on screen. I think Lucy's a bit too giggly and annoying, but so am I. So yeah, that's okay. But then there had to be a change, but not necessarily making a point of changing for the sake of changing. Yeah. It's making sure that it's like this. It's the same person, but they're not themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think there's a lot of true crime stories around where if somebody goes through some sort of change, somebody might have seen this person one day and they're fine, normal, and the other day they're like a bit off or a bit blank, or they're not quite there. And those kind of things sort of, like the movement, the mannerisms, and that kind of sort of different states of sort of energy and status and everything, that kind of really had to play a part in it, mostly because I didn't get a chance to read the script.
I think you touched on it there, Sam, and I think that's what you absolutely mastered was, because there's not a lot of dialogue in it, the way you portrayed this person was through your movement and mannerisms, and I think you did it so almost rhythmically that it was just pure creep factor. And just watching that screen, you know, amount of time me and Adam were just giggling to each other, because we were like, this is pure creep what she's doing, and just, oh man, like amazing, just nailing it every time. And it wasn't anything you were saying, and that's got to be difficult, I guess, for like for actors to go, right, here's your 90-page script, and you're like flipping through looking for your lines, and it's like there's nothing here. But to masterclass it like you guys have done without much dialogue, and tell everything you need to tell by a look, by a movement, do you know what I mean? It's like, I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah. Some actors say that's the best job to get when you don't have to learn any lines, because it's the easiest money you'll make.
And you don't have to learn the script. Yeah.
But it's quite rare that you have that when it makes sense that your character doesn't speak. Where sometimes, like, I mean, in a lot of films, like the female characters just don't have any lines because, you know, they're females. Why would they? But in your film, it made total sense because, like, she didn't need to. And it's actually, it kind of feels more powerful just being able to, like, not stare someone out, just not answer somebody. And then they sort of flounder for words. And then you're like, yeah, I'm in the driving seat, bitch.
Yeah.
Dominating the space with silences.
Totally.
You do have a great... I can't do spoilers or anything, but talking about like no dialogue and all that, there's a scene in this movie that is kind of pretty much the centerpiece of the movie. It's a phenomenal scene. And just... with everything that's going on, there is a little bit of dialogue sort of happening in the background kind of thing, but you cannot stop watching you do nothing. You
Mm.
can't, because your silence in that scene is just powerful as shit, and you're just like, oh, nah, this woman, nah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what happens. Great scene. Pass the sprouts, as I keep saying.
I think you smashed it, Sam. I think you smashed it.
Very good, Richard.
Smashed it.
Smashed it.
Smashed it.
So on that, this movie is a horror. There is a lot of gore in it. Yeah, Rich, Adam, you're a pair of sick fucks, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we are.
I mean, the funniest thing I found was when we were on set doing that scene and everyone was watching the screen in the kitchen, because we had like a separate big TV in the kitchen for the crew that weren't working on the set at that point to just watch. And we were doing the scene, and me and Adam were just giggling and laughing. And we went out to the kitchen. We were like, "What do you think?" And they're like, "This is horrific." We were like, "Do you not find it funny?" Like, it was meant to be funny when we wrote it, and they're like, "No." We're like, "Is there something wrong with us?" There might be.
Well, I remember, like, because on set there was the massive monitor set up in the kitchen, which was just down the hallway from that big dinner scene, and I was wrapped for that scene, or I was wrapped for at least like an hour or two or something. So I'd gone out and walked back into the kitchen. I had no idea that this TV was set up. I had no idea that they were playing. They were showing the shot back, but they were doing it in reverse. And I mean, this might be a spoiler, but something gets dragged off the table in a very horrible way.
Yes.
Right? And you can imagine how horrible that is. But the thing is, they were playing it in reverse, so essentially it just went back on the table. And so I walked into the kitchen, having just done all of this, like 10 minutes before. I walked in reverse, this huge screen just plays this giant thing splatting. I freaked out, and I tried to run away so quickly, I just ran into the door. I'd love to say it doesn't happen often, but
It's Sam, ladies and gentlemen.
So for you guys, being the directors and the creators of this, is that the sort of moment that you're watching it in the kitchen and cast members are all, you know, like, is that when you kind of know you're sort of like, right, this is gangbusters, this is going to be awesome?
Well, yeah, man, that, and I think we knew even in the early days of when we were shooting it, you know, just the responses of everyone that was on set with us going, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, like all this stuff. But now, you know, even come to now, you know, where of course we've seen this so many times, time and time again, particularly Rich, because he edited the whole thing afterwards. And like, you know, there's watching it back, checking for sound issues and this, that, and the other. We've seen it so much that, you know, sometimes you get a little bit, not bored of it, but you get so used to it that sometimes you kind of don't know what have we made? You know, is this good? Is it good enough? This, that, and the other. And now being at the stage where we're getting interview requests from lovely people such as yourself and all the other people that are approaching us, like people that have seen it are going, that scene, like,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? And that when writing that was exactly what we set out to do. We wanted to write it and have for the one reason of people going, what is wrong with them? Like that was awful.
Iconic.
Like, and it seems to have worked. And again,
yeah, I think that's something we've been asked a lot, isn't it? Is that like, is that a mistake that it's so powerful, that scene? But it really wasn't. Like, that was something Adam and I intended from the very beginning. Sorry, Adam, carry on. I just wanted to say that was intentional from the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was intended from the get-go, and that was the whole film was important, of course, and every scene matters just as much as the other, but that scene in particular was the crucial one that had to be perfect. And Rich touched up on this, not earlier, last night, saying that that was the one thing that everyone had to do line by line, and it had to be well rehearsed. You know, people can go off and ad lib and do their own thing, you know, in other things, and they did, and that was fine. But this one, because we had to shoot it in 3 stages. There's stage 1 where it's, you know, everything's cool. There's stage 2 where not so cool, and then there's stage 3 where it's not so cool. So like we had, and of course we only had 10 days to shoot this film, because that's what the budget paid for, and we only had a certain amount of time as well, within reason, to shoot this particular scene. And it took a long time, and it was crucial that everyone nailed their parts, and everyone, not only their lines but their actions as well, and everyone nailed it. And like, oh, it was magic, man.
Well, we said to the cast before, we said, you know, we sent them the script. We were like, we know we're late with the script. We've had a lot of cast change around and stuff like this. We've had to sort a few things out. Apologies that the script's late to you. Just learn this scene. Just learn this. And we want it learned like a play, that this whole scene, which, you know, it's quite long. It got edited down actually quite a bit from the original. We actually edited it down and didn't actually shoot about 5 minutes of that scene because of time and logistics, and we were like, does that actually work? And we made a call on set, but we said to learn it like a play. It had to be, they had to know it from beginning to end and run it straight through. We didn't want to be like, right, now you say this line, now you say this line, because we knew we'd start tripping up with time. We had 1 evening to shoot that whole scene with everything involved and nail it, and there was no turning back. And so we had to get it done. And I think one of the actors had to go early to get to another thing. And so half of the scene, we had to shoot around them not being there. So we had to figure that out on the day. Right, what do we need to cover with them there, and what do we need to cover without them there? So there was a lot of kind of rewind and this. And so a lot of the times that there were scenes going on and acting when they're acting to someone that's not there and stuff. And it was quite crazy, but we got it. And it was the most hectic, but I think the most satisfying day of the shoot.
Definitely.
And as a viewer, as somebody watching the movie, it smacks really well. And another thing, like there is another character in that scene that we've not really mentioned or anything like that, but the score, I believe is it Benjamin Simons, I want to say.
Benjamin Simons,
yeah.
absolute
one and only
genius, absolute
genius.
The score to this movie throughout, but in particular, because obviously there's not a lot of dialogue happening when you know the not so good stuff happens. But yeah, he's fantastic work on the score with Benjamin Simons there as well. So I want to quickly throw that out there.
Totally.
So on the you've just quickly mentioned before about the fact that you kind of, are you guys completely desensitized to this movie now?
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on.
No.
Yeah, go back to what we were saying before. Go back to what Adam was saying about we've seen it loads of times and we're kind of not sure what it is. One of the things of that is so desensitized that we're like, this isn't enough. This needs to be a lot more horrific. And it just has zero effect on me. But then we were like, it kind of is what it is. We can't add to it, but I would have liked to. And then when you hear people kind of going, we've got one horror reviewer that's seasoned, big horror review site, and that's what they do. And they've come back and we're like, did you like it? And they're like, yeah, but I found it really hard to watch, to be honest. Like it made me feel physically sick. And I'm like, for a horror review site to say that it made them physically sick, I think we did enough. I think we got there.
Our work is done, Rich.
Yeah.
Control Alt Complete.
I'm still scarred from the filming. Like
I am physically scarred from the film.
In the sense of like that, take the scene that you know, with everyone. Like I can't get that out of my head. Like, and when I watch it, I like transport back into that seat and like watch it live. So I can't. And I have watched it a few times, and I'm like Sam. I'm not a big fan on watching myself back, but I just it's something that I just don't think I'll ever forget. No matter what projects come along the way, I'll never forget that. And everyone who was in that scene, like the whole cast, were just insane. Like that was one of the best days ever.
The sort of whole shoot as well, wasn't it? It was just such a memorable one because everyone got on so well and did their parts.
It was so exciting.
No one was bigger than anybody else on this set. From every member of cast, crew, directors for the shoot were all on the same level, all the same pay and stuff. So there's no hierarchy within the film.
And there never should be. But it was really nice that it seemed like we're all there. Like even me coming in not knowing any. I mean, apart from you, Neil, I didn't know anybody. It was almost like you're just going to this big band of mates and you're all going to a silly banquet in costumes rather than you're turning up to do some work.
We were all like super.
The reshoots that we did. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but we did the majority of the shoot last year was it May?
May.
We did it May, and then we planned to reshoot in October for the last like 2 days for outdoor stuff that we couldn't get. We couldn't do it in October in the end because of it was like super boggy and raining where we needed to do it. So we ended up doing it was it January?
January.
Yeah.
It was January.
And January had been fairly mild.
Yep.
But then
Until that fateful night.
exactly
That weekend.
come shooting day, what does the temperature do? It plummets like a sheep out of a tree. And
A sheep out of a tree.
We lost half of our gear that night. It just froze and died. And the funny thing is,
Generator
half the
gave up.
crew didn't let me know that I was like, I was getting ready to go to another shoot in Iceland and got all my gear together. And I'm like, all my chargers, they're not working. I need to get on a plane with all my stuff. And then I phoned up the guys and I was like, my charger's not working. Do you know why? And they're like, yeah, that broke on the shoot. And I'm like, thanks for telling me, guys. I've got 24 hours to get on a plane
Oh no.
with all this stuff. So I had to run out and buy a £500 charger.
oh no, I just remember so clearly, and I think Nadia, you had to help me. Where we were set up, because we're in this like wooded sort of area on the side of a hill, but where all the vans and like the place where we could change and like the catering tent, which of course is the hubbub of everything, where that was kind of in a bit of a hollow on the hill, which seems nice and quaint, but actually it was just a massive frost haven, and it was about 5 degrees colder there than it was everywhere else. And the dress that I wore for Lucy, myself and the makeup artist had to spray it with fake blood, which is like a sort of water-based sugary syrupy stuff. We had to spray it to get the effect back. When we hung it up, came back 10 minutes later and it had frozen to the side of the van. I had to peel it off and put it above the oven.
Well, the good thing about the reshoots as well is that as one of the lead actors, I was then relegated down to Nadia's coat holder.
He really was.
I had small scenes to reshoot on the day before the girls is shot in the woods, and I came along to be a runner for the day, and just following Nadia around with a coat.
I appreciated every moment.
Exactly.
You're a bloody good
You're
one.
amazing. It's
No
amazing.
job too small for actors.
I think there's
these
no.
days.
I needed you. I needed you there.
So the movie is dropping in the US on October 2nd.
Yes.
How excited is everyone? Is everyone a little bit nervous, a little bit excited, a little bit? What's the feeling for Hosts coming out?
Yeah, terrified.
Why?
Really scared. Because it's more from my point of view, because like what Adam said, I've watched this film potentially
Yes.
100 times, and I've got no idea what it is anymore. I've got no idea whether it's good. I've got no idea whether it's the biggest piece of crap you've ever seen in your life. I've got no idea, and I've got to trust that people are not blowing smoke up arse for whatever. Like, I'd rather someone be honest and go, that's a load of crap. So learn that. But so far, like, we've kind of inched into a little bit this week. We're doing a couple of podcasts of people who've seen it, such as yourself. And so far, it's been overwhelmingly positive. And I'm like, maybe there's a chance that this could be a good film.
So you're telling me there's a chance? I'm excited. I'm really excited, to be honest. I was nervous, but now I'm just really excited. You know, whether it's well received or not, I think it's going to be fairly, you know, received well. But regardless of that, I'm just incredibly proud of us and happy, so happy that, you know, not only, I guess on a personal level, not only have I got to make a film, which I always wanted to do, and not only have I done that, but, you know, a film that I've been part of, we've sold it, and only a very, very small percentage of people get to do that. And not only that, it's coming out in America and the UK, and we've signed with such an awesome distributor who get us. But not only that, I've done all those things with my best friends, and that's like amazing, and I'm so proud of that, and it's just awesome.
And the
so
festivals
cool.
as well, like
the festivals
we've got, like we set out kind of, not to sound like arrogant, but we've done a bit of festival work in the past, and a lot of the time, not to sound bad, and I'm not trying to crap on anyone, but a lot of time I have a bit of a jaded look on a lot of festivals where they're like, you know, pay us this amount of money and we'll give you a piece of paper with a shiny sticker on. And I'm like, so you're literally selling paper with sticker on for 30 quid a pop. That's it. Like,
best director.
If you're lucky, that's if you win something. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, is there any legitimacy to this? Does that get you anywhere? And I mean, we did a short film before and we entered into a lot of festivals and we won a few bits. And I'm like, even the ones we won, I'm like, that has no relevance to anything. Do you know what I mean? So we kind of did set out a bit and said, do you know what? We're going to enter into film festivals, but we're going to enter into the top ones in the world. We're not going to get into them and we're not going to win, but at least we punted for the ones we wanted. And then we did get into them, and it was like, that's mental. Like, I don't understand. And even with, like, COVID's made it hard. We've had some of the ones we really wanted to get into, like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but TIFF was, you know, it's ridiculously big. And, you know, that's where all the A-list stars go and all this and red carpet. And we're like, can you imagine? I was talking to Adam, I was like, can you imagine if, like, we even got a response from TIFF? And TIFF sent us an email and said, we absolutely love the film. We would love it at TIFF, but we're down to 50% of films because of COVID. So we're going to have to say no, but we wish you all the best with it. And it was just like, I didn't care that we didn't get in. Having an email like that was just like, oh my gosh, like that's blowing my mind, like how the response. But we've got into Sieges, which is huge. We've got into Fright Fest, which is huge. Like, just feel blessed with that because, I feel like they mean something. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, pay for a sticker. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense or if I'm being RC or whatever.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Not at all. I think it's when you set out to do something and you sort of have a sort of goal with the budgets we had, with the time we had, with the resources that we had to make something that we made that we already knew was going to be sort of very good, if not great, for what we did it with. To have a goal of where to get to and to absolutely smash through that goal and achieve so much more. That's what you kind of want to do in life, is when you've got a goal, is always aim above it. Don't just coast around doing the same stuff. You need to progress, and you need to work with other people to progress through. And then the guys and us as a film have got so much from this already, like just from the experience of doing it. But to be in those festivals and then to be able to have the film out to such a wide audience through Dark Sky is incredible. And that's the guys as well, just not settling for the average. Do you know what I mean? Not thinking, we've made this film for this and we're going to do that. And if we get that, let's push really hard to get that. It was, no, let's push past that. And if we don't get that, at least we've got further than we thought.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing with the guys, is they don't settle for average.
I do think it's a mindset. And it's something that me and Adam agreed on at the beginning is, I guess that cheesy old slogan is aim for the stars. Do you know what I mean? Aim for the moon, and if you miss, you'll hit the stars or whatever. Like, but just aim as high as you can. Aim at the very top, and then you're not going to get it. But if you do, well, do you know what I mean? But if you miss,
your first sport,
if you miss, you might land a rung below that. Do you know what I mean? So like,
you might trip and fall.
Man, we had like phone calls and emails back from people that we never ever thought we would speak to in our lifetimes. We got some praise from someone super important that everyone knows, like, and that's weren't they? It was a personal phone call, and it was just so like, there's no other, like Rich said it, blessed, it felt so blessed to have that person phone us personally and tell us like that they're watching us, and they're really excited and intrigued to see what we do next, and they were really impressed with it. That's just, it still blows my mind. And it was ages ago, it was months ago, but it still blows my mind. It's nuts. And that comes from having the, and I quote Rich here, audacity to aim for the highest of the highest, instead of going, what could we achieve? Because if you go, well, who am I? Okay, well, we're here at the moment. This is what we probably could achieve, so let's only aim for that. Like, nah, screw that, man. Like, aim for the top, and you'll get the attention of someone, and that's what happened.
So you set out to prove you could do it. You've done it.
Yep. And some. Yeah, from the moment when Rich and Adam were sat in Rich's office, just sort of going, we've been tasked with coming up with a script for a low budget, and the guys just doing it from there. Just sitting here on podcast talking about how awesome the film is and where it's got, that's a journey, man. And that's something that is key with filmmaking and your career as an actor, DOP, writer, anything. It's you start somewhere and then you gradually build, and if you keep building, then you finally get somewhere. And the guys have been building and grinding for a long time with the channel, and I can say for all of us actors here, I mean, myself, Nadia, and Sam, and Frank's been doing it all his life. Do you know what I mean? And it's a constant grind, and to get the acknowledgement from people like yourselves who really are the true fans. I mean, you get the odd comments on Amazons and stuff that are just pure negative Nancy's, and it's to get the actual people that buy the film, that like the film, that will buy the merch and will wear a t-shirt with pride. It's key to get that feedback, and not just this looks rubbish, or that doesn't mean anything, because people, when they like something, they very rarely write a review. You never see TripAdvisors that are good unless the company said, please write on TripAdvisor, please, because there's all these idiots writing horrible reviews. Like,
with people that understand where it's come from and how the process works, could understand how a film like this has gone out of the normal boundaries for films of this, I'm not going to say genre, but films of this type, say, not necessarily budget, but of this sort of
caliber.
They're sort of not to sound like hierarchical, but it has seemed to have like bounced out of its the pond it was born in, not to talk about
exactly that. Like, when me and Adam first it's always good to go, where do we see this? Where's the minimum we'd like to have this? And we were like, well, it would be nice. It would be nice if we could have a DVD in the shop in the UK. Like, that would be really cool if we could achieve that. And now the fact we've got a cinema release in the US, is mind-blowing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Also, cinemas are open there. What?
Yeah.
They're open here. They just don't want us to go.
No.
Melt one last year. It was nice.
So Adam, how's that script coming for Host 2?
Wait! I've got the new. This is sacred. I don't know if you'll see this on the thing.
Very nice, very nice.
This is our slate of films coming up.
It's
world exclusive.
World exclusive.
Don't do it, Rich. Don't do it.
Well, we could A, show you the pitch decks, or B.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, Neil's already sent me screenshots
of everything.
Yeah, but what off, Kev? I told you to keep them. They're personal.
We've
written Reddit, everything.
That's called a flesh deck.
We've we've got a booklet of pitch, one-page sheets of about 6 or 7 film ideas that Rich and I have come up with, of film concepts, and we've finished 2 screenplays. One of them is a film called Dirge. That was the original film that Rich and Nadia and myself wrote way back, but 3 years ago. And there's another one as well that we've just actually finished the screenplay for that during lockdown as well. So again, another reason why lockdown was beneficial. And now in the middle at the beginning of the next screenplay, which is quite likely to actually be the next film that we do. That's sort of what we're pushing for on this one. So a lot going on, and we're super busy with stuff and getting everything into gear.
But there is that other one that you were writing, which is actually a Host's prequel called Host.
Or the one before that, which is just Ho.
Ho. Yeah.
Hey.
Who knows? You know,
When Lauren met Lucy.
Yeah, when Lauren met Lucy.
Who knows? If the fans demand a sequel to Hosts, who knows? Me and Rich really aren't really sequel bres, isn't it? But who knows? We'll see what happens.
If you had like some sort of like natural disaster or some sort of mutant monster, it could be like Host Nado.
Oh my god, that's a good idea.
Like you could fire Jack and Lucy's out at all.
Tornado that's just throwing out Jack and Lucy's at everyone, and they're just getting hit.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, you get a hammer.
Maybe it should be
you come out like
animated.
Thor with a hammer, just like.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start wrapping up, but I really enjoyed this movie, and I really want everybody to go out and see this when it does come to the UK in January. And anybody listening over in America, please do check out when it hits on October the 2nd. But I want to go around the room again because we talked about one scene in particular, no spoilers or anything like that. What is everyone's favorite scene in this movie without hitting spoilers?
Oh,
I've got mine.
Go on, then, Neil.
Go on, Neil.
It's got to be with my incredible scene partner Nadia. I thoroughly enjoy working with Nadia. All the times I've worked with her and watched her work, she's impeccable on screen with her performance. And there's two occasions where it's just myself and Nadia, and I wouldn't have looked as good as I would if it wasn't for Nadia's reaction in what I do to her and say to her. A lot of actors think it's all about them. And it is sometimes, but this particular time is all the time it is. It's about who's working with you and what they give to you and what you can give back. And for me, just working in front of her and opposite her to do what I do in the film, you'll see when you see it when it's out that the emotion that Nadia can play for the things I say to her, it's all about her. And that was just really nice because they're my two favourite scenes. So yeah.
Plus, Nadia got to be in a position I've only ever dreamt about, Neil.
I'm so lucky.
Not lick in the face.
You've never licked my face.
That's because you live up north, mate. I can't see you like.
Oh, that is horrendous and racist, by the way.
Is it?
No. So Nadia, what's your scene? What's yours?
Oh God, I was hoping you weren't going to come to me.
Oh, doesn't it?
Oh, it's so hard. Okay, I think I'm going to say, is it cliche? The scene. And you will all know what I'm saying when you've watched the film.
Scene 24.
The film where it involves every character that's in this film. That was an incredible experience as an actor, but also it had so many levels and gear changes, and like we went from excited, happy, lovely, and so wholesome to a complete reverse of that. And I'll leave that with you guys because I don't want to say any more, but the deconstruction of a family happens at that scene, and it's one of the best things I've ever experienced as an actor, and one of the hardest things I've had to do. So that is my favorite. You're
gonna love my review, by the way. Everything you just said, yeah.
So in terms of favorite scenes in that, I think it is hard to choose because there was such a lot of ridiculous stuff that we got to do. But I do think, again, not to sound cliche, but I think that scene, but in total contradiction to what Nadia said, like it was really hard for me, although apparently you can't tell from my face in the scene, it was really hard for me because these are, and again, it's done like a play, and it's really hard to step back from everything going on but still feel it. So like I had to sort of be completely in with what they're saying and not care about it. But like the best way to not care is to care first and then ignore it.
Oh, yeah.
So or kind of, you're like, I was there listening, and I was kind of in that stage of the film, I'm being more kind of a bit more like a spy or a fly on the wall, a really big fly in a green jacket and a white dress. But that was, it was really challenging as well, because normally with a scene when everyone's interacting and there's all this energy flying back and forth, you just want to get involved, and it's like, nope, you have to ignore every instinct that you have and stick to your main priority. So that was a favorite. But then also I really did enjoy, there's a scene that we did upstairs. I did not enjoy the spiders. When your hair is covered in sticky fake blood and there's spiders and cobwebs everywhere, it's not fun. But the upstairs one I think would probably come in second. I think those two were, because they were both very long scenes, and they both told a lot of the story, and there was a lot of character sort of like there was a lot of the character's journey there. But yeah, those two would be mine.
Cool. Adam, you wrote the damn thing. What's yours?
It's tough, man. Like I kind of swap between scenes from time to time, but at the moment, I'd probably say, okay, I'm gonna have to mention two. It's genuinely a tie between the scene that Sam was just talking about, the upstairs scene, and the bedroom scene as well, with Nadia. And you get to see a very short snippet of it in the trailer.
Sounds really wrong.
Sounds naughty.
I love
it's not that kind of film, everybody.
You get to see a little snippet of it.
Yeah.
There's no flesh shared.
But it's those two. And I cannot pick a favorite out of those two. But at the moment, those are the two that are at the top of the Pokey Bum Wank chart.
Richard, what was your particular scene that you thought, I'm going to like this scene the best, I'm going to film this scene the best because this is my favourite? Which one was yours?
It's got to be hands down the one with the seagull.
Oh, mate. Everyone forgets about the seagull. Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing
yeah.
performance.
All about the seagull.
Don't talk about Frank like that.
No, I'm going to do a pure cop-out here, and everyone's going to hate me, but I'm going to be a pure cop-out.
Oh, no.
Because it's not strictly scenes, I guess.
Are you going to say the intro?
It's jumping from scene to scene, but my favourite part of the film is from when they enter the corridor to when they leave the corridor. That chunk of the film, which is about half an hour to 45 minutes, just that whole section, just because it's kind of relentless. And I mean, it sounds really arrogant, but that's when I'm most engaged in the film of like, I'm enjoying this after the 158th time still, which is, yeah.
That when you sat there and you're like, I've done bloody well on this film, didn't I?
Well, I wouldn't get that far. It still needs to go in the bin, but
I do still find it incredibly chilling, like, because I've seen it a few times now as well, and I do still find it really chilling seeing Neil drag Nadia by the hair.
Very good. Very good.
And like sometimes I find that scarier than others. I think some days it hits you differently. And also I find myself horrible to watch. But then I keep reminding myself that the first time I tried, the actor's name was Lee, that I was trying to pull along. And the first time I said, no, I'll just drag him, it'll be fine. I way overestimated myself and I pulled it, but because my arms were backwards, I just fell completely flat on my face.
And if you want to see that, it's actually on the behind the scenes that comes.
It is.
So yeah.
Absolute face palmed it, and I'm like, see, I'm not that bad.
Well, guys, this has been absolutely awesome. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. The movie comes out very soon, October 2nd in the US, obviously, and we will get it in the UK because you've been super nasty to us UKs, and you've just been like, you can't have it.
Sorry.
And
Sorry.
if anyone listening wants to get some merchandise, we've got some exclusive limited edition shirts and hoodies available. Go to www.hostsmovie.bigcartel.com. And also, I don't know whether this is going out before or after October the 9th, but on October the 9th, we're releasing a music video for the soundtrack of the end credit song of the film. So look out for that.
By In Search of Sun, the
incredible.
most amazing band on the planet. Go check them out.
I genuinely thought that was a Bear Yeet video coming there. You've pissed me off now.
No, we had to settle for second best this time, but you know, at least
they are the
something.
best.
I wanted to wear some grills in it, but they wouldn't let me.
Yeah, we tried to get Benjamin Simmons on, who does the music for Bear Yeet, to get him on to do a cappella with an acoustic, but he wasn't available because he's too busy.
That would be quite
trying
good.
to convince me to do, trying to convince us to do an a cappella Bear Yeet tonight.
I did try for you, Kev, but I think there's a delay, so it wouldn't work for you.
There's too much of a delay, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's no good, guys. That's no good. But honestly, the film's brilliant. I do genuinely believe this film's going to find an audience. It's going to do well. It's going to do gangbusters, and I can't wait for people to find it, especially when it hits the UK shows as well. And I think you guys are people that we should all be looking out for, and I thoroughly believe that these are names that we're going to be seeing going forward.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You're a legend.
You are a legend.
Except for Neil.
Thanks for
I
having
offered
us,
you an
Kevin.
exclusive the other day.
Was it illegal?
You just didn't reply. He's just like no typing or anything on the thing. He was like, all right.
I was ironing.
What's that got to do with the price of cheese? You could have said, okay.
I don't think I've ever heard a man say I was ironing.
Racist.
I'm
Sorry, I'm not sexist. I've just never heard it.
My brother did it once, but it was with bacon.
I'm a
Amazing.
podcaster, Neil. We don't make big bucks like you guys, Neil. I'm a podcaster.
You'd be very surprised because I'm in hellish amounts of debt. We don't make any bucks, but we will from hosts. So that's
This one time I made 4.
That's because Neil's paying us for all the parts, so he's out of money.
yeah.
Honestly, guys,
Just a little scene, please.
Well, we love Neely, and we just vouch for him 100%, and all the rest of you as well. We love you all. We just want to say that it's like you cast of what made this film amazing, and we love you so much. Love.
Love.
Opposite of hate. Isn't
So
it?
are we doing
Opposite
another
of
half,
hate.
another half an hour of like uncensored stuff now? Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. I am going to head off. I could honestly speak to you guys more, but I am absolutely busting for a slash, and I don't have a pint glass.
Dude, I have a pint glass if you need it.
I was going to say, I don't have one, so I need to go.
Damn.
The floor.
Oh, you know for next time.
for next time, Kevin. Okay, you know for next time.
Kev, I'll give you a free host hoodie if you do it right now.
Pee in that bottle. I'll sign it. Nadia will sign it. Sam will sign it.
He's thinking about
I'll
it.
even lick it. Not the postcard sign.
Only one clue.
What will
We'll
you
You
do?
suddenly look incredibly relaxed. Is this a clue?
See you later,
That's
guys.
the
This has
spirit.
been
Bye,
awesome.
See you later,
Kev.
Kev.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, man, take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Oh.